Hi, this is Steve Milton again. This reading is going to be the opening chapter of my book, Cherish Him. This chapter is told from the point of view of Ted, a grumpy small-town landlord in Honey Bay who suddenly has pop star Dante Huxley descend on Ted's Airbnb rental. Enjoy. Do you also piss in sinks? I strained my voice at whoever was inside the limo that had just parked on my precious lawn. Did anybody ever teach you proper behavior? I banged my hand just a little too hard on the living room window. It hurt. The limo still didn't move off my lawn. In fact, it pulled a little bit closer to my door, just driving on my lawn. Some people truly had no sense of propriety. I got dressed. I marched right outside. I tapped on the driver's window. It was tinted too dark to see inside, but I shouted loudly for whoever was inside to hear. The street is for parking. My lawn, on the other hand, is for... I paused. What was my lawn for? For lawning. I raised my arms in exasperation. Parking. Lawning. Do you understand the distinction between the two? No answer. Maybe there weren't even humans inside, only vulgar monsters who had descended upon Earth, only to park upon unsuspecting people's lawns. Is tearing up someone's lawn with your 32-foot land yacht the accepted custom on whatever planet you're from? I strained my face up against the window's dark tint. The limo's back door opened. A tower of upstyled hair peeked out from behind the door. A man, young, cocky, in a branded sweatsuit on a balmy Florida morning, stepped out of the limo and right onto my lawn. He smirked at me. You were the naked dude yelling from the house window? My face flushed red. I had indeed neglected to cover up when responding to the limo on lawn situation. Formerly nude dude yelling from the house window. I glanced down to make sure it was true. And it's my house window, and it's my lawn. Anyway, I was formerly nude. All right, Florida man. He looked me over. Formerly nude Florida man. And you are? I looked him up and down. With his haircut, his hoodie, and his cocky grin, he looked like he made his living posting on Instagram. I'm your new tenant. He glanced over at my house, as if I'd even allowed that. My new tenant of what? I squinted at him. Your new tenant of the Airbnb apartment that you listed online on Airbnb, the website? He said it like a question. Maybe I could pretend to have never heard of Airbnb. Maybe I could pretend that there was a recent re-addressing initiative and he was actually at the wrong house. You want to stay at my house? I'd avoid it if there was any way to. There's no vacancy. My manager already arranged it for me. He showed me a confirmation email on the screen of his phone. He looked up and down the street as if he was expecting to see someone he knew. Ah, that reservation. I sighed audibly. I had to own up to it. I'd already received the first batch of money from Airbnb for a 3-month rental. My music store wasn't exactly a profit center of anything. I needed the money. I just didn't need this guy. He took off his sunglasses. He looked at me as if I should have been grateful to catch a glimpse of his face. I'm Dante Huxley. You've probably heard of me." He grinned. "I haven't." I looked at him blankly. "I'm Ted Baker. I own a music store. My cultural knowledge is mostly music-based." He shook his shoulders a little, like he was dancing, or like a horse trying to shake free of its harness. "My band, Inferno? I'm sure you've heard of it." "I've heard of it." That was the kindest thing I could say about Inferno. Just a typical cookie-cutter, fluffy boy band. A couple of guys singing forgettable songs with forgettable lyrics. Can't say I'm a fan of it. I'd heard of Inferno. I certainly didn't condone it. "Yeah?" Dante looked surprised. "If you own a music store, Inferno probably paid for your house." Dante smiled a huge, proud smile. He looked over my house top to bottom, like he was about to repossess it from me. "What?" I took a step back, enough to notice his tight young body peeking out from under his muscle shirt. That shirt didn't really cover much of anything. "Inferno albums sell like hotcakes, man. Probably paid for your house." Dante's eyes were a verdant green, the color of fresh guava. All that male beauty, strictly for the enjoyment of women. What a waste. No boy band had ever paid me anything. I'd bought the house back before Honey Bay became fashionable. "You think you paid for my house?" I shook my head at him. "Inferno is at the top of the music charts. The music always sells well." Dante squinted as he stared at me, then at the house. "I'm just trying to tell you that if you're in the music business, then you'd better know Inferno. Inferno's music sells really well." I don't consider that sort of thing to be music. I smiled at him, kindly, the way the Pope might smile at a wayward pilgrim. I was being generous. I wasn't lashing out. "But as per Florida law, I don't discriminate against people who make shitty bubblegum pop. So yes, I will rent the place to you." Dante pointed one silver-ringed finger at his limo. The trunk popped open. The driver jumped out and started unloading suitcases. All this on my lawn. No one cared. No one even apologized. "I guess just put them there." Dante nodded to the driver and pointed at the front of my house. Weighed down like a mule, the driver tugged some suitcases and a guitar to my front door. No regard at all for what the luggage wheels were doing to my lawn, nor the way he carelessly kicked open the cat gate in front of the house proper. "Let's discuss some basic things, some ground rules." I cleared my throat. "This, you might not know, because you might never have seen one in New York City, is called a lawn." I gestured at its wide expanse. "I pay $100 a week for this lawn to be cut, styled, and conditioned." "You must be doing pretty well," Dante nodded. "Those Inferno CDs must be selling really well at your store." I withheld my latent rage and only politely shook my head to him. My financial situation is irrelevant. I just have a sense, an understanding of the importance of the proper... Anyway, I sighed. It was no use. It was like singing opera to a pig. I'd just treat him as a tenant and not try to teach him about the finer things. "Let me show you inside." "Cool. I love the bumfuck nowhere small town vibe here." Dante said it like it was nothing. Like after insulting my house and my livelihood, he could just insult my hometown. Nose in the air, he looked like a drug-sniffing cocker spaniel. "The ocean air smells just like I remember. I used to do summer camp in Honey Bay when I was a kid. That's how I know it. It still makes me happy." At least Dante was happy. At least somebody was happy. His driver stood next to the stack of suitcases and stared at Dante blankly. I led Dante over to the cat gate. And do you see this gate? I tapped on the waist-high gate that separated the house proper from the lawn. Yeah, Dante nodded, then tapped on the fence, just as I'd done. Dante see, Dante do. His long, thin fingers were downright simian. You have to make sure this gate is always closed. I opened the house's front door and pointed at Duchess. At the foot of the stairs, she was assessing the situation and licking her paws. The gate has to stay closed so my cat, Duchess, won't run away. Her? Run away? Dante glanced at Duchess and snickered. I don't think she's going to run anywhere. Roll away, maybe. What? I distracted myself from anger by fishing around in my pocket for the key I'd saved for the tenant. Duchess is big-boned. Dante pointed at her again, rudely. Big-boned? She looks like a ham. He chuckled again. I'm quite proud of how well I've fed her since adopting her from the shelter. I shut up and gritted my teeth. It was no use trying to reason with someone like that. I'd give him his key and minimize all future contact.